Good morning. I decided to move how I was sitting because I was tired of sitting on the floor. And but we are starting a new week. It is Monday, um, and it is so good to have this week as oh, there it is. There I am. Where well for me this week is going to be very exciting because I don't have to go to classes, so that'll be fun. But I wanted to just continue with what we've been doing, and I've also been informed that the videos, when I post them, when they get posted online, they are not being the people are not being notified. So I'm gonna work on that, try to figure that out. But um, this is actually gonna be a very interesting video because I'm gonna be giving a little bit more about myself, a little background on who I am and certain things that I like. Um, because it is involving the disciples questioning who is the greatest and why is my video. That is so weird. Um, there it is. Okay. Nope, that's not one. So reflecting on reflection of Mark 9 33 to 37, who's I put who's the best of the best because that's what I kind of think of when I think of people arguing about stuff like this. And I thought of Muhammad Ali because he uh, he was considered, and in my opinion, still considered one of the greatest boxers to um, to ever live. And people can argue that, and I'll get into that in a minute of like greatness and where we kind of touch on that. So uh, again, since I am home, I have my CSB with me. So starting with verse 33, they came to Capernaum. When he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent because on the way they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. Uh, Sitting down, he called the 12 and said to them, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be last and servant of all." He took a child and had him stand among them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one little child, such as this in my name, welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but him who sent me." That took two reads because it's been a minute since I've actually read this passage, and so stop doing that. But when it came to, I do apologize for the darkness. I guess it's because of the light or whatever. But when it comes to um, this, it's thinking of the fact that Christ is God, but he's talking about God the Father here, and when you welcome the child, when you welcome the least of these, you welcome him as well. And when I was thinking of the, what it says, they because on the way they had been arguing with one another about who is the greatest. And this and the next slide are the two things that popped into my head when I thought of the idea of being great. Obviously, like I said, Muhammad Ali, or in today's world, Money Mayweather. People will argue that, or people that don't know anything about boxing and just know movies would say Rocky, and I would laugh at that because that would be funny. Um, I immediately thought of this kind of out of the box action movie. I don't know if that's even the right wording to use, but The Best of the Best, long story short, was one of those movies where they were the best of the best, obviously. And it was America versus Korea. South Korea. It was somewhere over there. But with that being said, they fought to be the best. And they even argued these five main, specifically the front three, kind of were like, I am the best. I'm the greatest. I'm this, and that's kind of what I was thinking of when I was reading this passage. Was the fact that we compare ourselves like this. We compare ourselves in the aspects of when we do anything in life. I'm the best at this, or am I the greatest at this? Like, who's the greatest? And they were arguing among themselves, and they knew if they brought it to Christ, it would just be kind of pointless. Um, and what's funny is Christ knew their heart. Um, but why would they argue who of them would be the greatest? Uh, why do we, I'm sorry, in the world today, it's supposed to be compare. Uh, Compared to one another and think of who's the greatest and who's not. Um, I can go to, the school and just go around and hear people argue about who's the greatest football player, who's the greatest football team, or whatever. But for me, I'm not a big football guy. I'm a movie guy, or actually, as I mentioned earlier today, I'm a wrestling guy. And so, uh, for wrestling, the ones that have that are the greatest. But that's not how God views it. That's not how we should view it. It's not a material item. It's not being called the best of the best. It's something so simple, yet so hard for us to do. The fact that, if anyone wants to be first, be first, be the best, he must be last and servant of all. That, in my opinion, is one of the most important things. We must be a servant to one another. At least that's something that I believe we should do. Is we should be a servant to one another. Excuse me. Whoever welcomes the uh, the little child, such as this in my name, welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but welcomes the one who sent me. Now, Luke, to kind of finish this off, this is the other gospel uh, discussing the great, who's the greatest. So Luke 22, 24 to 27. Then a dispute also arose among them about who should be considered the greatest. But he said to them, the kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who have authority over them have themselves called benefactors. It is not to be like that among you. On the contrary, whoever is the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and whoever leads like the one serving. Whoever is greater, the one at the table, who is greater, the one at the table or the one serving? It is the one who's at the table. Now, this is what I think is important, and something that we as Christians we forget. We do not think about this, and we always try to compare ourselves. I'm better because of whatever. And Christ says this, um, but I am among you as the one who serves. You are those who stood by me in my trials. I bestow on you a kingdom, just as my Father bestowed on me, one on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and you will sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm not saying that we're going to be part of the judging because Christ specifically chose those 12, even though Judas was one to betray him. He uh, was replaced by Can't remember his name now. But the other guy. But you know, why do we? Why does it matter? We are not the best of the best. We are not. We don't have to be comparing ourselves to anyone else. So this week, I challenge you to do one thing: to not compare yourself to be better than anyone else, but to be who Christ called you to be the last, to be the least, to serve, to be willing to take that time and go the extra mile for someone else. Like for me, this week is going to be a little busy because I'm going to be cleaning my place a little bit because I have the time. But while I'm out, I'm going to be challenging myself as well because I want to be out a little bit. I want to get out in the air. So that's my challenge to myself as well. But I also want to challenge one other thing. Whenever you are challenged with, you know, anything in this world, anxiety, stress, or just fear of any kind, I challenge you to do one thing. I'm going to challenge myself as well to open up to scripture. One of my favorite things to open up to is actually the Psalms because they talk about it just as much as we do. So that is my challenge to you. That is what I have to say for today. Uh, Now, this is my hope that we will be having all the videos by the end of this week of Mere Christianity. That is my goal. Genesis chapter 3, I think. I think they finished. I had to run out of the room for a moment to do the little uh, kind of fellowship that we had, which was fantastic. I wish more people were able to show up, but that's okay. But I hope that everyone has a fantastic Monday. And remember my challenges to you and the challenges to myself as well. So, goodbye, and I will see you again.